May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be always acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Well, last week, Jesus got into a boat and began to cross the Sea of Galilee to the Decapolis, Gentile territory. And there was a great storm, and he calmed the storm. And we remember that it was not appropriate for Jews in the first century to mix it up with Gentiles. And so his disciples who were traveling with him in that boat were probably concerned about the reputation of their master, and they were probably concerned for their own reputations as well. Rabbis were not supposed to mix it up with Gentiles. When Jesus gets to the Decapolis, he receives an uneven welcome. We recall that one of his encounters was with the Gerasene demoniac, and he drives the demons out of the Gerasene demoniac, and they go into a herd of pigs, and the herd of pigs rush off a cliff into the sea and are drowned, and immediately the owner of the pigs come and ask Jesus, who is disrupting the local economy, to please blow town. He has unnecessarily disturbed things. This seems to be a pattern in the gospel, that people are either eager to get close to Jesus or they're eager to get rid of Jesus. That's a theme throughout the Gospel of Mark. In the latter category, we would find that group of people who cut a hole in the ceiling of the house where Jesus was preaching and lowered the paralytic down to be healed, so great was their care for their friend. In the second category would be the Syrophoenician woman who begged Jesus to heal her daughter and continued to beg Jesus even when Jesus was curt with her. In the second category would be Bartimaeus, who would not shut up and yelled at the top of his lungs when Jesus was passing by, even though those around him tried to quiet him. They would accept no barrier and no limitation between themselves and Jesus. And so a word used when we're back in the Decapolis 3 times is parakaleo, beg. Jesus was begged 3 times. Once by the demons not to be sent out of country, once by the herd owners that Jesus would leave town, and once by the demoniac that Jesus would take him with him wherever he went. And now as Jesus has decided to cross back to his home country, he gets out of the boat and immediately he is met by Jairus, who falls at his feet and begs him, parakaleo, 3 times for the life of his daughter. Now this would have been unusual because Jesus wasn't precisely well received by the established class, and Jairus was a representative of the establishment. He was a leader in the synagogue. And for Jairus to publicly beg Jesus to accompany him to his house for the healing of his daughter was at best poor form. It was messing with the local social registry. And en route, Jesus meets yet another person in need, the woman suffering from a hemorrhage for 12 years. Now this woman, under Jewish law at that time, would not have been permitted for 12 years to have entered the synagogue. She would not have been permitted to be out in public because she was considered to be a person who defiled others by her flow of blood. We're told that she had suffered much at the hands of physicians over the course of those 12 years. There were 11 cures offered in the Talmud for her particular ailment. One was to put burnt ostrich eggs in a linen bag and carry them around under your skirt. Uncomfortable at best. Another would have been to fill a goblet of wine with wine and rubber and alum and crocus blossoms, and to drink that daily, which would have been a bad buzz, at least. This woman had suffered much, and she had spent all she had on these physicians. She presses through the crowd where she has no business being, so that she may reach out and touch the hem of Jesus' garment. And so what seems in Mark's gospel to unite Jairus and this woman are a willingness to break with convention in order to get near to Jesus. And Mark seems to say that the truest test of faith is whether you are willing to do whatever it takes to extend yourself to meet God and God in Christ. Whatever it takes, that for St. Mark seems to be the test of faith. So I wonder if we should here at St. Paul's be expecting people to come through our doors who are willing to break convention and breach boundaries in order to meet Christ. And perhaps they have been to other churches, but they did not find Christ inside. And so part of our obligation is to be a people who welcome those boundary breakers and to offer a community of faith where they can find hope and the presence of the living God. They are looking for an undomesticated Savior who loves fiercely, who forgives with abandon, and sometimes speaks to us sharply. When we brush up against that Christ, sometimes we will feel a healing begin deep within the recesses of our souls, in an unexpected place, if we can reach out and touch the hem of the garment of our Lord. When Jesus does finally accompany Jairus to Jairus' home, his daughter is already dead. And people in the first century were not unsophisticated. They knew that dead was dead. And so when Jesus says the girl is not dead but sleeping, it is no surprise that they snicker at him. We would too. He takes the parents and his closest disciples into the girl's room, and he takes her by the hand, as we just heard in the gospel reading, and he says, Talitha cum, get up, little girl. And she does. She gets up, and she walks around, and she has something to eat. And we presume that she went on to live a full life. I think Christ speaks those words to each one of us still. Get up. God comes to you in whatever place within you has been dead for a long while, or maybe in a place that has never been fully alive. When Jeff was reading the first lesson today, he was having a bit of difficulty because Christ has touched him deep within the inner soul, having lost a loved one recently. Now, Jeff, the rest of us were crying when we read the lesson from Corinthians about giving more money. So you weren't alone, it was just an uneven time factor. So maybe like Jairus, maybe like that woman suffering from hemorrhage, you have been overly defined by convention or purity codes or gender or class distinctions, and you need to venture the crowd and seek out the hem of the garment of Christ. And today may be the day that God says to you, not rouse a little bit, not stir around some on your cot, but get up and walk about and have something to eat and manifest in your life that you have been touched in the deeper inner recesses of your person by the Spirit of God. There were plenty of voices in that room that day who said other things about the little girl and did not have any hope for her future. And there are voices like that in your own soul as well. What you see is what you get. There is no God. The poor are beyond your concern or power to help. You cannot make any difference in this world. You must press beyond those voices when you hear God say to you, get up and walk about and have something to eat and manifest that God has touched you. And then welcome those who come looking for that touch themselves to this place and extend beyond our campus that touch to others. Amen.
Amen. you.